What's up, everybody? StackingSurfer here. You guys can call me Surfer or Jared. And we're going to have a good show today. So today is the 3-year anniversary of the channel. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit how I got started with this, how it's going, and if I'm going to keep doing it. So we'll do that. Now, if you guys have a question for me, there's a couple of ways you can do it. One, you guys can put a question in all caps. You can also put at StackingSurfer. That'll pop up so I can see it as well. And then the other thing is you can always do a super chat, which also helps support the channel. So that's up to you guys to decide how you want to do that. We are going to do a couple of polls, and we're going to go for about an hour. And then at the end of the hour, we're going to switch over to a members only. So if you guys are not members, the easiest way to become a member is just look down below this video that's playing right now, and you'll see join. And that'll give you the options to join. Now, I've had a few people complaining about some of the mining videos that I do, as well as a lot of the other channels that do them. And you guys, this stuff isn't free, right? It costs a lot of money. I've got this new microphone that's working well right there. Okay, these things cost money to buy. And you've got other equipment and other costs that come into play. Additionally, most of us work for some kind of money. And so you've got always this trade-off between money and time and everything. So there's a couple ways you guys can support the channel. One is watching the videos. Okay, they're free. They don't cost you anything. You can hit the thumbs up, the like button, which also gets the message out there. Now, right now, I think the channel's being shadow banned because we talked about the white lines in the sky and also some stuff that you can do with silver that makes you healthy. And since then, the channel, it's not getting shown to anybody. So it's basically come to a complete halt. So do hit that thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this. That'll get more people to actually see it, because right now a lot of people are just not seeing anything in their feed, which is too bad, because I'm going to have to pull back on doing any interviews until we get past that time. It just, people that come on to do interviews, they want to have, a certain amount of views. And if that's not happening, then they're going to basically not come back on again. So we're going to have to hold off on having a few people come to do that. Other ways you can support the channel, you can become a member. There's different memberships that are available there. They go all the way up from a simple membership that gives you emojis, and it'll give you these live streams, all the way to a call. I'll be setting that up probably for Monday or Tuesday with everybody that has one-on-one mentorship. And then another way you can support is super chats. Okay, that always helps, or you can buy other memberships for people. So those are ways to support the channel. We try to keep the ads as low as we can. YouTube has ads that come onto these videos, so those are going to happen anyway. But I'm excited to be here, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing your questions and your thoughts. So let's get this video up. Okay, so I'm going to be watching us over here on my other screen. That allows me to see the comments that you guys are putting in if you put at StackingSurfer on there, so I can see it. It'll also allow me to do a couple polls, which is going to be fun. So if you guys are members, we're going to roll right over into, at the top of the hour, we'll roll over into a members only live stream too. All right. So a few of you saw a video of mine where I had shaved. Okay. So that was a video that was a few months ago. It's still relevant. That's why I put it out. If it wasn't relevant, I wouldn't have put it out anymore. I would have gotten rid of it. There'll be a couple other videos that are coming out that I've got an editor I'm testing out right now to see if I can try to get more content out to you guys that will have me without a beard on. So you're going to have to guess whether I still have it or if I don't. All right, let's talk. Happy birthday. So this isn't about me. It's about you guys. I've been doing this now for 3 years, and I thought about doing it for a year before that. I do wish I had gotten started a year earlier, because I would have a bigger channel than I do today. I'd have more experience, and we'd have even more content for everybody. One of the things I just want to point out is this is something that I did not aspire to do. It's something that people kind of pushed me into. And they thought, hey, you'd be good at this. You should go do it. I was in the process of hiding all my stuff, hiding my assets. We will get to your questions in a minute too, guys. Hiding all my assets into trusts and making myself completely invisible. Matter of fact, I went to go buy a car a few months back, a used car for my wife. Nice car still, nonetheless. And the people came back to me, they said, you have no record of like really anything. That's because I've hidden everything. So it can be a little tricky when you're buying things sometimes if you don't have any assets you can show, but it's a nice feeling to have. So I own nothing, but I control a lot. And that's one of the things that I was in the process of doing. Well, in that, I talked to Stormy at Empire Precious Metals, if you guys know him. And I had him look at my stack. This is going back about a little over 4 years ago, maybe 4.5 years ago or so. And he reviewed it. He talked to me about it. And then we got talking. And he basically said, hey, Jared, you should be doing a YouTube channel. You aren't afraid to show your face. You're not afraid to talk about metals and what's going on. You know, you're articulate, whatever. So I waited a whole year because I tried to get everything set up. What am I going to brand it as? Am I just going to use a StackingSurfer name that I used for auctions on a couple different sites, including his and Silver Dragon site, and Guido Stacking, if you guys know him, or am I going to do something totally different? And so I decided to go this route. We started putting it together. And if you go back to my very first videos, guys, they aren't embarrassing to me because it is what it is. It's just what I put out, right? I didn't know what else to really put out to kind of start talking about stuff. But I'm going to do a couple things for you guys. We'll talk a little bit about AI if you remind me towards the end of the show. And I think I'm going to hit that a little bit more for the members. I'm in the AI space. I just spent the last week in Baltimore area. If you guys haven't seen my last video, please go take a look at it. It has Sean's Precious Bullion. It also has JT Coin Rings in it. I'm interviewing them, and we're talking about general things that are going on and how they're going to affect us in the market, gold, silver, platinum, as well as I think we get into a little bit about just the overall condition of the country too. You know, when it comes down to things, a lot of times it takes a while for it to click. Okay, if that makes sense. So I'm in the AI space. I see a lot of things that are going on, and it hit me really hard. I sell an AI tool, and I don't know if that AI tool is going to exist forever, or if it's going to be something that it gets completely replaced from AI in the next few years as it becomes more intelligent than every human that's ever lived on the planet. When we get to that point, I don't even know if there's going to be software. So it hit me pretty hard on that, just thinking through the whole process of, am I going to have a job? Am I going to be able to finish out the next 15 years of my career, or is it going to end a lot sooner? So we'll hit a little bit about that today too. But that's kind of where I've been recently, out in Baltimore doing that and understanding that. But the reason I bring all that up is I encourage any of you that are willing to and have interest in putting a YouTube channel together to create content to do it. You never know if you're going to be the next star. Okay. You know, everybody that starts around the same time kind of gets to know each other, and some channels take off more than others. It just depends on the combination of the person, the theme, everything else. I think this channel would be larger if it had silver or gold in the name. To be honest, I think it would do a little better. I think a lot of people are finding this under surfing. So we've had a lot of surfers that have come in, and we've been able to get them into silver and gold, which is great. Silver Surfer is a problem. Everybody calls me Silver Surfer, even people that come up to me in public that see me, which is a freaky thing, by the way. So if you do show your face, you got to be okay with some of that. It's a Disney property. I don't want to get into that too crazy, but you know, I just don't even want to deal with it. So I create something different. But anyway, 3 years, guys, this has been fun. I've been creating a lot of content. We've had a lot of great chats with you guys. I've had a lot of great guests on. We've started interviewing more people the last few months. And, you know, we've had a couple times of some explosive growth. And this is why I think I'm probably getting shadow banned. You know, I've only had 4 months out of the 3 years where there's been growth. All of the rest of the time, it's very slow. And what I mean by slow is it's adding a few new subscribers to maybe 100 per month. It's completely flat. That's what's happening right now. Those 4 months, those usually had anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 new subscribers a month. Okay, completely different. Now there are waves that come in. Okay, so we're going to talk about waves a little bit. I'll show you guys another cool background here. and then I will get to your questions too. So I had AI create a couple cool waves for all of us in here. So here we go. This is this way. This is everybody here that's stacking and riding this golden wave with me. Okay, guys. So there are waves that come in the YouTube channel. Those waves are usually based on what's happening with gold and silver when we see the price move up. So when we saw price move around 2000 and go higher, that was a big wave. Another big wave we saw was when gold started to, I guess I would basically say $4,500 or higher, right? We started to see it move. And then even more so with silver, when we started to see silver breach $100, it really started moving. It moved at 50 as well. So you take advantage of those waves. I'm realizing I need to be much more careful about what I say and other people say on here, which is too bad because I try to bring as much truth as I can to you guys. But when we do bring too much truth, it basically slows it down. Usually at this point in a live stream, we're at 150 to 200 people watching. Right now we're at 85. So I can tell you they're already throttling it, which is what YouTube does. So at some point, we may really do some truth bombs and really help you guys get into some other preparing stuff. If you really want that, let me know. I'm going to be asking everybody that's a member on the next, at the top of the hour too. We may have to go and create like a Rumble channel or one of these other channels where we can say whatever we want on there, and it's not going to get shadow banned. So just know that. If you guys are like, hey, he's not dropping as much information anymore, it's because I can't. They start having problems. That's, if you guys remember Ted from my channel a couple years ago, he got himself banned with a few things. Okay, let me get a poll started, and then I'm going to look at all of the comments and thoughts that you guys have that you're sharing. So here's what I want to see. You guys will like this. What is the silver floor? Okay. So I want to see what you guys think the silver floor is. Okay, so this is like, right now prices. Okay, so we got like 70. I'm going to put in there. I'm going to put 60 in there because some of you guys are looking for some crazy low prices. Okay. We'll put 50 in there, and then I'm going to put 30 because some of you guys are looking at that. So we're going to start that poll. All right. So now I want to go and just see. I'm going to bring you guys into play here. Okay, cool. Okay. So Rob, welcome. He is usually first here watching these things. So thank you for coming in and for the support. This is interesting. He says, I believe that the GSR will be the same as the mining ratio by the end of the President Trump's term. That's when the private Fed, IRAs, and BIS are abolished and the gold in Fort Knox is revalued. I don't know. Those are possible things to do. It's going to take a lot to take out the BIS because that's not just the United States. If I take this back here, one of the things you may be thinking of is if people consider the United States to be Babylon, and if you guys are religious at all and you think Babylon's going to fall, well, maybe our financial system falls. In order for the Fed, the IRS, and the BIS to all go out at the same time or relatively at the same time, you're talking about a complete fiat monetary collapse. Could that happen? It could. Okay, now here's the crazy thing. This stuff doesn't get shadow banned. Okay, it's not talking about this stuff that they have a problem with. It's talking about how to get you guys healthy that they have a problem with. They want to keep us all sick, which is really stupid. But that's how it goes. So Rob also has this comment here, which is true. So gold, and it's not just gold at Fort Knox. It is gold on the Treasury's books. Okay, so it's all of the gold. It's not in Fort Knox. It's spread among 5 different depositories or vaults. And that is if we all have what we say we have. Maybe we have more. Most likely we got less. But it's $42.22. And then it goes 2 more decimal places with 2. So it's 0.2222. Okay. They can revalue that at $8,000 gold, and they create $2 trillion. I do think that's part of the game plan, and I think they're going to wait until then. So I think the other thing I would put out there, Rob, is I think they want it to rise on their own. In my opinion, I agree with Eric Young on this too. And I think that what they're going to do is wait for that to happen. So I still think gold's going a lot higher, and an $8,000 gold also means we're going to have a much higher silver, in my opinion. All right, we've got Brilliant or Brian Dylan. Got to get my glasses updated. So he's looking forward to it. Interesting times ahead. We've got, let's see, let's go. Silver on the rise. I don't even know what your name is on this, but let's see. TY me. My brain's not going to be able to pick that up, but I know it's something creative. Sorry about that. Silver's about to take off. It's taking off, so is gold right at the moment. But you guys also have to realize the current momentum is coming off of what Trump just said and was posted, okay? So if that changes and all of a sudden we have something more escalate with Iran, potentially it could go down. Now, it should be going up a lot higher. Gold and silver should be going up a lot higher. It's not that during war times that gold and silver go higher, but there is a lot of demand for it. None of the other fundamentals have changed. And so we should see it going up a lot higher. It went down. I think there was a momentary point where it hit $45 on silver the other day in the middle of the day, meaning someone had a buy order at 45 and someone went to sell without putting any kind of a limit on, and it hit it. Kind of crazy, okay? And I don't know I don't know if that was on SLV or not, but those things can happen. If you guys are trading, make sure you're always doing limits, not market, especially if you're doing pre-trading or after hours trading. All right, so who else got in here? We've got Chris in here. Welcome. Hello. We've got Elle in the house too. Welcome, Elle. Thank you. Who else we got? We've got Craig in the house. So you guys do hit the thumbs up. That'll help us through the shadow banning period of time. The other reason I mentioned that too is I had another subscriber reach out and say that they watched part of my video, they came back and it was deleted out of their history. So, take a moment, look down below. Does it show that you're subscribed? Okay, so that's number one. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe and then look at the bell icon. Okay, if the bell icon is not black, then what that basically means is you're not getting notifications. So you want to hit the bell icon to have the notifications. Now, if you feel like I'm putting too much content out, you can always pull that back. You can change that to like just videos versus shorts and things like that. And if it's too annoying, you can take it off. You could send me a note and say, hey, Surfer, this is too annoying. Don't do this kind of content. But it does help. And then the thumbs up makes a difference on the video too. Additionally, the other thing that helps all of us YouTubers is if you're watching a video, you go and watch another YouTube video. Okay. That helps YouTube understand who's coming from my channel to another channel and what videos you guys have interest in. It helps them know who to recommend my content to. Additionally, if you watch a video that is not a live stream all the way to the end, and then you see the 4 little videos that are on there and you click on one of those and you go watch that, that can make a huge difference in the algorithms supporting the channel. And some of those you'll see are actually playlists. If you just leave it on the playlist, it gives you the opportunity to go see a lot of other content that's there. That's also another big, huge thing. So it's not as important for my channel, but smaller channels that are under 1,000 subscribers, or even, trying to get their watch hours, that can make a huge difference. So just kind of a tip to put out there for you guys. All right, let's see who else we got in here real quick. Silver is creeping up. Get excited, but so I am back in Southern California now. I've just got my white wall here. Now I'm in the process. I did order a new green screen to try out, and I'm hoping we'll have some really cool backgrounds to put in for the studio. One of these days, if I could get the room to work better for me, we may do, some decorations on a wall or something like that, but I don't think it's going to work as well in the room I'm in, just because of the lighting. So it already did start, but Theodore, welcome. Okay, we've got a lot of you guys are going crazy in this already. So we've also got the notorious RPG 1980. We're going to be on time today. Pretty close, yes. Now, some of the reasons I'm not on time is the microphone may have an issue and not totally set up, but I'm going to be setting up this desk in a different part of the room, and everything's going to be set up there minus the computer. This is a house computer. People are using it for different things. I've got to get into a couple of our other computers, and then this one will probably just be dedicated. Once that's done, it's going to be good. Now, if you guys had gauze, I've got all these gauze that are about to go out here, okay? We ran into a little bit of issue with my son, so I wasn't able to get over to Costco to get all the stamps. And I have enough stamps, but I cannot find them in the house. Something happened to them. But those are going out. And then if you have a 1 ounce coin that some of you have, or if you've got the 10th ounce gold that's coming still, those are going to be going in black packages tomorrow. You'll get an email that that's getting sent out. Since there's more value to those, that'll be tracked. The other ones will just be letters that go out to you guys. So congratulations to everybody that won those. Those are coming finally. And it's going to be a while before we do any more gauze until I've got an assistant or my wife can help. It just bogged me down. As a matter of fact, I'm not creating as much content right now because I've had to address all of these. And that seems like an easy thing, but I have to go into each email, copy and paste, put it into a certain format in my spreadsheet. And, you know, that's the kind of thing I have to do to do this. So it actually takes hours and hours and hours, I don't know, probably 30 hours, 40 hours just to do all these gauze that we had. It was a kind of a lot of stuff to go through. Anyway, but that's finally coming out for you guys there. And I need to text my wife just 1 second. She's forgetting. I told her we were doing a live stream. So I might have an issue. Let's see. Well, let's see what she says. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to keep going through here until I get more information from her on this. Okay, she can wait, so we'll have to see. I think I'll take a short little break when we go in between the hour. All right, guys, so let me see who else we've got in here. We've got Melissa, my channel. Congratulations. I think she's been helping out a lot with stuff too, so thank you. We've got Ethan in the house as well. Thank you on the 3 years. This is about community. It's about you guys too. So we're not going to just only do this today, but we're going to get to the questions. I'm waiting to see if we can get the questions in here, and then we will go over to the oh yeah, that's interesting. We'll go over to the poll here in a minute. Yeah, there isn't a way to do it, Rob. So, you know, I am working on a website. When we get the website up and going, we'll have some other ways for you guys to support the channel through that. We'll probably have items for sale at good prices there. So there'll be other things you can do. But as far as this goes, you've got to connect a bank to YouTube in order to be able to pay for it. They don't have any way of you being able to do it with your computer. And at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter whether you're hooked up to your bank with a computer or not. Eventually, all that stuff's going to be pretty transparent. Just wait until the stable coin comes. Okay, that's coming. All right, we've got, let's see, Silver Atari 23. That's interesting. Bought 1.5 ounces of silver at the LCS today for 105. Afterwards, went to get some groceries, and I got a 1941 silver quarter in my change. Dang, that's a good day. That is a good day. All right, we'll get one more in here. We'll get 2 more in here. So we've got Matt. Matt, you got a letter coming in here. Same with Barbara. So welcome. Those are coming. Thank you guys for the patience. I know it's been a little crazy, and I just didn't know how many of these gauze that I did over the few months as we were doing a lot of videos. All right, we got Steve Woods. We'll do a quick shout out to him. I like the new look. It suits you better. He thinks I should keep this. The hair's starting to get really crazy. Should I keep growing it out, guys, or should I cut it a little bit? You can see it's a lot of hair. At work, they can't say much because, well, there's a lot of people with beards and a lot of people with crazy hair at work. All right, let's see here. Elle's birthday is Saturday, so happy birthday. I'm going to have to remember that. Do AI where you're clean shaven. All right. Yeah, I'm sure it can do that, and it could probably put a mustache on and have some fun. All right, let me look for a couple of yours. Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to come back, guys. At least not for a long time. So Stormy, his channel was primarily about auctions, and people just stopped buying at auctions. And to do an auction, you cannot be selling silver eagles and make money from it. There's just not enough money in there. You've got to be selling coins that you picked up that have more like say a $15 to $30 spread. You picked them up in bulk when they came out, like a Marvel or a DC or a Disney coin of some kind or some cool shape. And they've got to be kind of sold out from, the mint. And you got to sell them secondary. That's a lot of what was going on. And those coins are starting to get into the $100 to $150 range. And there just wasn't enough sales going on. And I think that's one of the main reasons he pulled back. But I've tried to get him to come on before, and that just wasn't a thing that he wanted to do, is to go on anybody else's channel. But hopefully he's doing well and helping out, teaching his kids that he works with about gold and silver. Hopefully that's happening too. Wyoming. So Wyoming's one way you can do it. But as far as setting up a trust, if you set up the right kind of trust, you can hide things pretty well. It doesn't need to be Wyoming. It'll usually be in whatever state you're in, including California if you live here. It's how you do it. And there's also different states that are better for asset protection and other things like that as well. All right, let's see what else you guys have in here for me real fast. And then I want to get on to a handful of things I want to show you guys on X that's going on right now. Guido's awesome too. I bought a ton of stuff from Guido as well. The auction guys, it just doesn't work for him anymore. So they've had to, kind of pull away from it. Silver Dragon stopped doing his auctions too, and his pours. All right, let's see. All right, Richard says, if I end up out of work because of AI, it'll probably happen at some point, guys. Hopefully the channel's big enough by the time that happens that we're not having too many issues. But the reality is there's a lot of you that'll possibly have job issues before I do. If you're white collar is going to get hit first. Okay, blue collar is going to get hit not as bad. But really the biggest fear I have around the whole subject here is, especially in high tech stuff right now, a lot of the jobs that are going are the entry-level jobs. It's the kids coming out of college. So they've got all this debt that they're strapped with now, and they're trying to get started in life, and they're getting laid off. A lot of the tech companies are laying people off. The bigger problem is that means we're not going to have a new generation of people that grow up to be senior architects and experts. We're going to be relying on, in about 15, 20 years, you're going to be relying on a handful of people that still maintain to have their jobs. But we're not going to have anybody young that's coming up that's going to be able to assess what's going on. And that's kind of where AI is going, which is going to be a little bit crazy. So a lot of people do not want to be a YouTube star. Now, here's the one downside I'm going to tell you about doing YouTube. I don't have time to manage my own portfolio anymore. I don't have time to get my emergency preparedness stuff updated and going. That's why I'm slowing down a little bit right now. I can see what's going on. I'm updating things. I'm adding to my food stack a little bit more. I'm also having to reposition some of my my mining stocks. I sold a bunch of my mining stocks today, not because I want to get out of the mining stocks, but I want to consolidate it to 5 companies right now. And I'll share that in the members only stream later today. I want 5 companies so that I can move it over to Fidelity and go get paper stock certificates. I don't know if the great taking is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen soon, but if you've got the stock certificates, it's like holding the physical gold and silver. Okay. Now, hopefully the companies are still around if anything gets crazy, but that's a way to go. Now, I wouldn't do that if you're not going to be holding a company for very long. If you're just trading them back and forth, it's not worth it. But if you're wanting to hold something for a year or longer, I think it's probably worth it. But you've got to have enough shares to do it. Each company is going to cost you about $100 to get that physical stock certificate. So this is what Bill Holter talked about. I'm trying to see if I can get all of this arranged to really get it started either and finished this week or beginning of next week. So I haven't really been able to do my own stuff. I've been so busy creating content that I haven't been doing that. I haven't been taking care of my own finances to do all this other stuff because, to be honest, it's like there's just not a lot of extra time. I don't even know what's going on with sports. I haven't watched sports in a long time. It's been about 8 months since I've gone surfing, and I need to start getting out in surfing again for my own health. Plus, we've got our new puppy who's doing some training right now. But when he's back, he's my running buddy, so we're going to get out and exercise more and get healthier again, which I think is going to be good. So I do plan on doing a lot more surfing this year too. All right, let's get to your questions, guys. So I think this is cool too. Homesteading themes can be really good. So I would love to do that. And if we do get to a homestead, like I've wanted to for a long time, we are going to do a channel on that, and it's going to be like City Slickers to the farm. See what we can do. And also this too, Alan Satoshi Greenspan, thank you. Be prepared, not scared, guys. Look, you shouldn't be scared about anything that's coming up because you can't do a whole lot about it anyway. The best thing you can do is help spread the message of channels like this to get more people woken up to it. But the reality is that things are going to happen. So you want to get as prepared as you can. And then after that, you just got to put it all on God and let him take care of things. Okay. And if your time comes sooner than you were hoping, then you just have to deal with it. All right, let's see. Okay, so we've got people putting the floor in. We'll look at that in just a second. Trump says a lot of things. I'm still waiting for a lot of this stuff to happen. So he has talked about a golden age. The White House is all gold all over the place. His buildings are gold. We'll see what happens. I'm still waiting to see for more things to happen. You cannot assume that he has control over all this stuff and that he's got all the power. He's just the president. The president cannot do everything. He's got to get Congress to do things. He's got to get the Treasury to do things. Now he can control that a little easier. But you gotta watch out for that stuff. Let's see here. So you're missing the point here, Brian, on it. If we have 40, we're going to have 50 trillion in debt or more by the time we get to 2030. Okay. Maybe it'll even be 80 trillion. Okay. I don't know. Maybe they'll go and just create a bunch of new money because we go into depression and they want to print out of it, which is what I think they would do if we get there. The 2 trillion isn't to go take the debt down. In my opinion, I think what it is they're going to use the 2 trillion to go buy more assets, buy more gold, hopefully buy some silver and other rare earth minerals for a national, what do they call it? Sovereign fund, sovereign wealth fund. And then we may even see them buy cryptocurrencies. They may do that. And so the other thought is here, if they allow it to go higher, maybe it's because of inflation, because they just spent $2 trillion on gold, who knows? We get to 16, maybe they'll do it again. Okay, there's no limit to how many times they can do it. But I saw something on Johnny Bravo's show the other day, I think it was today or so, that he was talking about the Treasury saying that they're insolvent. So the Treasury is insolvent, yet it has gold priced at $42, okay? So the real question is, can we get other countries to audit our gold? And can we prove we actually have the 8,233 tons or so roughly? I don't know. If it's not really there, then we're going to have problems. If we have more, will people believe us? So it's hard to say, but they just need to be able to send over that revaluation notice to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, well, it's new. I guess they issue new gold certificates. The Federal Reserve takes those and basically issues a bunch of new dollars for it. Okay. That's kind of how that thing works. But it's not necessarily paying off the debt. You're right. Paying off 2 trillion of 40 trillion isn't going to do anything. Now, one thing I will say with AI real quick, guys, is if we see a major catastrophe with jobs where AI takes out, say, 20% or more of the jobs, which it possibly could do, we could see a situation where tax revenue goes way down and we're going into debt way faster. So it doesn't even necessarily need to be that we're just printing more money. It may just be that, well, it's still printing money, but it may just be that the income is not there. And so this might be one of the reasons Trump is talking about getting rid of the IRS, is because he knows no one's going to have a job in the future, and therefore there's going to be less revenue coming in. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. I still think there's going to be a lot of jobs. I think there's going to be a lot of new jobs created that were never there before, but it's going to hit every industry at the same time. It's going to take a while for some of those new jobs to come. And some people just aren't going to be qualified and ready for it. So you'll have probably a lot of people retiring earlier than they expected. We'll have certain people that just aren't going to be able to fit into the new model. And because it's hitting everything at the same time, it's going to be a lot more potentially destructive for it. The other thing to kind of just look at with that too is going to be, do we stop using our own brains because AI figures out how to do everything early or better? So that'll be something that's interesting. All right, let's see if we got any more questions from you guys, and then I'm going to jump over to X. Let's see. Okay, so here's one question. Okay, so we've got from Gus. Do you believe American government may attempt to access gold and silver in 401ks? All right, so here's what I'm going to say to this, guys. The great taking kind of puts things in the light of things being taken from us. If you hold something close to you, it's less likely to be taken. You can bury it, you can hide it. If you bought your metals not online, and if you bought them from a store that doesn't really keep a good record, or you bought them from a peer-to-peer, you've got more metals that are kind of off the market where no one knows anything about them. If you've got any record that's out there, your only issue is really being subject to subpoena. I've got some things I'm working on right now that I believe I can do in a way that will make it so you can still stay invisible and keep track of stuff. Now, short of having things by you, you have a third-party risk. So if you vault it in a vaulting facility, you've got the risk of the person that's vaulting it for you. You've got the risk of something happening. We had a vault in Beverly Hills that was raided, and people 6-7 years later still don't have their gold and silver that was in that vault. It's still in the hands of the FBI. If you have it with any of the companies that do vaulting, the apps, you can have an issue potentially there. Okay, there's just a third-party risk. Now, all these things have insurance, okay? So as long as the insurance companies are around and going, you should be okay. But you want to read over the paperwork on it. 401ks, same thing. It's sitting in a safe, in a depository, right? Well, could they come after it? I haven't seen anything in writing that says they can, but if it applies to those vault facilities like it does banks with the bail-in, then technically I think they probably could use some of that. You wouldn't be able to stop them from doing that, but is that something that I worry too much about to say, hey, everybody get all of your gold and silver out of the 401ks? Not yet. I don't think we're at a time where you need to hurry and pull it all out. If all of it's sitting in there, I'd recommend having some of it with you. If everything does go crazy, then I don't think, let's say you had $100,000 of gold and silver. I don't think you're going to need $100,000 of gold and silver to take care of yourself in a crazy time. I think the price of gold and silver will go so high that, maybe 10,000 will turn into 100,000. I don't know. I don't have any data on that, but could it happen? I'm being told it can by some people. Is it a huge concern? It's probably one that I would have somewhat of a concern at, but it really comes down to like percentage of ownership of your stack, right? It also comes down to where are you storing it? Is it segregated? If it's segregated, you're more likely to have, less of a problem. If it's not, you could have some other issues. But that's the question I would ask your 401k vaulting facility for that. I'd say, hey, can they take it from me? What can we do about it? How does that work? And ask them for stuff in writing so that you have it. All right, let's see what else you got here. I like having, like I've said, 3 months of expenses around so that you guys can get to it. You don't have to have it all with you, but you should have some of it with you. If anything crazy happens, it's most likely going to be kind of like the pandemic, right? Things may shut down for a couple weeks to a few months. it's probably not going to shut down for a full year. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to get to your questions really fast. So I'm going to use this because it's my channel birthday. StackingSurfer Jared, your content is always spot on and very interesting. I appreciate all the work you put into creating it. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you very much. It always feels good to know that people are actually enjoying it. She doesn't have the time to do it. So we've got one of our kiddos that is basically full-time, needs help with a lot of stuff. So my wife hasn't even been home for a couple of days. She's been taking care of that kiddo. So she's basically a full-time nurse in a lot of ways. That's the reason why she just doesn't have any time to do it. I hope at some point we'll be able to get to a much more normal position. Okay, let's do this real quick. Yeah, some of these comments I'm not putting on the screen. Yeah, going to Tim's and seeing Yankees always really fun. Okay, I do want to show you guys a few screens. Let's do this real quick. We're gonna look at the poll because I want to hit that, and that's going to roll into what I'm going to show you guys on X. So let me pull up the X so we can hit that. Get you guys some good content in here. Like you can see, it's kind of hard to find all the questions and all these comments, and it can make it kind of difficult. So that's one of the reasons I would say that it can be very helpful if you do the super chats, because they come up in another section on this and I can find them easier. So if you guys think it's annoying to read off all this stuff and you want to get your question and get out, super chat's the best way. I think it starts at like $1 or something. So, you know, if you want to ask your accountant a question, it's like $300. Okay, maybe you don't have an accountant that's $300, but stay away from the $300 ones. Okay, here's the poll results. So we are at, let's see here. All right, there we go. So what is the silver floor? Okay, now this isn't necessarily the silver floor that the government's going to put into place, but they may end up doing that at a different number. But we've got 37% of the people think that 60 is the floor. If you look at a lot of the charts are showing right around 60, okay? The 200-day moving average, I think, is right around 60, maybe a little bit below that. We'll show a chart in a minute. 29% of the people think 50. Okay, that's a little lower than the 200-day moving average, but 50 is where we broke out of the 45-year cup and handle. $70, 25% of the people think it's 70, that we're not going to probably go any lower than this now. And we got 9% that think it's 30. So I'd be curious, from the 9% that think that we're going to hit $30, I'd be curious to know if you're buying or selling. Okay. I would assume if you think it's hitting 30, if you think it's going to hit 30, you probably shouldn't own any silver right now at all, or not very much of it. You should probably be selling it, because this is a great price to sell at right now if you're going to buy down there. But the caution I give you guys, and as always, none of this is financial advice. It's just some guy in California that's got these crazy surfer people that are like going to totally die when they hit the beach. That's like way too close to the beach for a wave like that. But don't take my word for it, okay? But here's the thing. If we get to $30 silver, I think it's going to be some crazy stuff has happened, okay? I think you're probably looking at a Dow down at like 30 or 20, okay? You're probably looking at a big stock market crash. People are talking about, you know, a depression, okay? So it's not off the books. We could possibly see it even get down to $15 or $10 if people are just having to sell their silver just to eat, okay? But here's the thing. You'll be glad you have the silver to sell if you have to, okay? And even if we have deflation like that, where the price of silver goes down, so are the prices of a lot of other stuff, because people just don't have the money to buy it. Therefore, the price is going to go down. So it becomes kind of relative to it too. But I would never sell all my stack, even if I thought it was going down to 10 or 5. I would still keep some of it, because you own it for a reason. And a lot of the reason I own silver is SHTF. Some of it's speculation. With gold, it's wealth insurance. As long as I still have wealth, I want to insure it. And that's the whole point of it, is the gold will take care of things like real estate and other investings that might get hit hard. All right, we got another super chat in here, so I'm going to throw that up here. So Born Hunting, thank you very much for the $50 super chat. 3 years on YouTube, which is awesome, guys. Hopefully you are all enjoying it, and hopefully it is making a difference in your life, and you guys are getting good information out of it. You know, one of the reasons I started bringing a lot of the interviews on is these were people that I had questions I wanted to ask. So why not bring them on for an interview instead of trying to pay some crazy amount of money, like $500 or $1,000 to get an hour with them on the phone? That's been my philosophy. It kind of worked. I didn't have to pay these guys a bunch of money. We got views out of it, new subscribers. I got to get a lot of my questions answered, and hopefully you guys got to learn in the process. So send me an email, leave a comment down below. You know, who else do you guys want to see me interview? And let's talk about what that looks like, because I do think we want to get some more interviews coming. I do have Lynette Zhang coming up in April. We'll have Andy on at least one more time in April. I totally messed up Don Durrett yesterday. I was looking at the wrong week. I didn't see that I had anything, and then I was busy with work, and I totally stood him up, which I feel bad about. He's not coming back on the channel. So he basically told me I'm not coming back on the channel. I kind of blew the chance, which sucks. Now, he's not mad at me. He's just completely slammed. And he's like, that was the chance I had. And he's got too many people with much bigger channels that are asking for him to come on a regular basis. Now, I have a really comprehensive video with him. So if you guys go back and look at the videos, you can get a video that hits just about every question I would ever ask the guy. We went over an hour. I think it was like an hour and 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You can get it there. Not mad at the guy. It just sucks that we missed it, because we would have had a new video probably coming out tomorrow with all of his good content, maybe even today. All right, but Born Hunting, thank you very much for that. Gerald Celente would be awesome. I don't know how to get a hold of him, and we will have to put like a, you know, one of those censor things on there, because he likes to drop a lot of F-bombs. But the guy knows his stuff. He's a little controversial, but he's got some points to make that I think are pretty good. Or at least they're entertaining, and they're things to be considering. Okay, let's get X up on here. All right. So remember, I'm going to do a quick break just to get a hold of my wife, but I will, at the top of the hour, we will roll this into a member-only chat live stream, and then you guys will be able to ask more of your questions, and then I'll basically pause it for just a few minutes as I go to do that. Okay, so here's a few things I want to share with you guys that I think are really interesting off of X. And let's see if I can get the sound to work.
Was running that day on. If I was going somewhere, I was running.
Okay, so basically, as you look at this one here, this must be up in Northern California, because we're only at about $6 and maybe 40 cents down here. So this goes beyond a California tax. It must be city tax that's being added. But I think some people may be that high. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me. But if we continue to have a prolonged conflict with Iran, a war, whatever this thing is, you know, expect to see oil prices go higher. Okay, everything's priced globally. Even if we have a lot of oil here in the U.S. and maybe we have access to it, expect the prices are going to go higher. Once we get over $100 a barrel consistently, and we start to see the prices go up, okay, you're going to start to see that affect everything else. It's going to cause price inflation, okay? It doesn't necessarily cause true inflation, because we haven't had any new money added to the system, but it will cause price inflation because it's going to drive the cost of everything else up, at least until the price of oil comes back down. So if that happens, just watch out for it. So if you guys have extra gas cans, I would go fill those up. I always, you know, tell my family to fill the car up once we get to half a tank, fill it back up. Costco is another great place you can go to get a discount, and then money back every February that you spend at the gas station. I'm looking to get my girls a couple Costco cards. They've got some specials going right now that if you get, I think it's just a star membership, which is normally $45. I think if you if you sign them up and you're already a member, you get like a $40 gift card for it. So it ends up being like $5 for the first year, which I think is a no-brainer, especially with gas prices. Now, the other thing's fertilizer. We've got a lot of issues coming up with fertilizer here, potentially, and that's about a 30% coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. So that could be an issue. We could have a famine that comes down the road too. So if you guys don't have any long-term food storage that lasts anywhere from 15 to 30 years, I highly recommend grabbing that. It was on sale after the pandemic, big time. I picked up more of it. Right now, it's pretty expensive stuff. It's not inexpensive. I do have my editor working on a video to show you guys how to go to Costco and make your own food storage pretty inexpensively. Hopefully, he can edit that in a way that'll work. You know, go do that. Go buy some things. If you have the means to go and buy enough food to support everything that you do with home cooking, I would recommend doing that now and then just rotate it so that it doesn't go bad on you. Some of those things aren't going to last, you know, as long. Okay, so there's a couple other things I wanted to pull up in here. I don't even know what this stuff is. This isn't even going into my bookmarks. Okay, that was weird. So we got this one here, this post. So during oil crisis should be, silver during oil crisis should be soaring. It's not necessarily true, but a lot of times it does. The current Iran situation and the availability of gas, oil, gasoline, and access to power in general will have folks wanting to buy EVs, solar panels, once war dust settles, making these require lots more silver. So I don't know if that's going to happen per se. I don't want an EV. I don't want anything to do with one. So I don't know, but it's not incorrect, right? If we start getting a lot more stuff going on with expensive oil prices, you could see people deciding they want to move over to EVs. Let's see. So the other point, let's see if I can bring this one up bigger. I don't know much about what's going on with this thing here, but it basically says South Korea begins fuel rationing and driving bans. People can only drive 1 day per week and will be forced with license plate readers. So I don't know. Maybe we're going to get into a crazy period of time here where you can't just go fill up your car if you want to, and maybe the price will get super crazy. Now, I'm hearing the same thing with Australia, that there's some stuff going on with kind of like energy lockdowns is maybe the term there. So that's something just be careful of, guys. You know, if you've got a job where you have to travel a lot, especially if you're doing things on an airplane, you may want to try to book those flights in early before the price goes up. Maybe tomorrow's a good day. Maybe it'll come down a little bit if they think things are about to be over. But, you know, be careful with that. This one here is looking at the price of the Silver Eagle. So we're looking at a difference of, let's see if I can blow this up a little bit. So right here on AppMex, you know, they were showing a price of $69 for silver, and they have a price here at like basically 87. Okay, so that's a $17 premium there. And JM Bullion, I guess about the same thing. They're looking at $18 there premium. So, you know, has the price of silver really gone down to 60? Has it really gone down to 70 if you can't buy a Silver Eagle for that? Now, if the Silver Eagle is 18 and you can go buy a silver round for $4 premium, buy the silver round, guys. Don't go buy the Eagles right now. The best time to buy Eagles is when someone's unloading Eagles because they need to do something else with the cash and you're able to buy them close to spot price. That's the best time to be buying Eagles. Let's see. So we got a few people saying the price of oil is really high where they're at in gas. All right. Another thing I want to show you guys real quick on here is this chart from North Star Bad Charts. Hopefully we'll continue to have Kevin on. I've really enjoyed having him on. So here's what I want you guys to look at. If you can see my cursor here, at peak FOMO, be mentally prepared. So he was calling for that, the peak FOMO, that we're probably going to have a pullback. Okay. He just didn't know how high the peak FOMO was going to go. He kind of does these like yellow ranges here. So, he's looking at anywhere from 83 up to like say 112 or so. It went a little bit above that. You can see the black line that's coming down here, and this isn't quite updated. It went down a little bit lower than that. But, he's basically saying it could test this black resistance line here, or I guess this would be the support line. And, we could maybe see it come back down to 60. So that was kind of what a lot of you guys are thinking too. And then after that, he sees it going up a lot higher, going up a lot more. So, if you're not following, first off, if you don't have an X account, I think you guys are doing yourself a disservice. There's so much good information on there around gold and silver. I would definitely check that out and go to follow. All right. So this is about AI stuff. I'm not going to really get into that too much, but what I'll tell you is you can go get these little Mac minis, and you were able to set up your own AI agent, which could do a lot of great stuff for you. And then basically Claude, which is another AI technology, just came out today and made it so that you don't even need one of these dedicated machines. You can just run it off your own machine. Now, I would not recommend having an AI running amok on your machine. I've got Macs, and none of them have any of the AI enabled. I don't want that on my machine. Egon, if you guys aren't following him, you got to go follow this guy. He spits out massive truth on gold and silver. He's been spot right on a lot of things, and I think he knows what he's talking about. This is another one from North Star. It basically says if you think we're at the end of the gold and silver bull run, then you don't understand. See this rotation over here on the left, and you can see that bottom half circle. That's what's happening right here. So you can see how much this went up. The rotation. That's what we're going to see here. You guys, we're going to see prices go significantly higher than where they're at now. If you don't think that's the case, then that's okay. Maybe buy some silver and gold and put it aside, and just in case. But I do think it's going to go a lot higher. David Bateman, one of these days, we'll hopefully get him on. But he basically just said, look, the macro case has not changed, guys. And that's what I'm going to tell you. We're still going to see them print money. Okay. The government isn't all of a sudden, we didn't find some new massive productivity thing that makes humans more productive. Okay. We basically found something, this AI tool, or it was created or whatever, to basically optimize everything that's out there. But that optimization is getting rid of us. Okay. Some of us are going to be more optimized, but a lot of our jobs are going to be optimized out. And when that happens, that is going to cause a lot of issues around just economics, because there's not as much money flowing around. So I do think there's going to be a day where we're probably going to have universal basic income, nationwide. I think there's going to be a day where, people just don't travel out of their city very much, even without any kind of a forced lockdown. They just don't have the money to do it. And that fiat system is going to crumble at some time. It always does. Every time they do this, it always comes apart. So that's why I say gold and silver, do have cash. People aren't going to want your gold and silver. If we get into a barter situation, at first, they're going to want cash until they realize it's just paper. So you don't want a ton of gold, paper sitting around, but you do want to have some of it around. And I think we're a ways off from anything super crazy like that, but I could see us having some bank issues this year. They're still pretty shaky. I think we could have issues with cyber attack with Iran if this goes on longer. We can definitely have issues with fuel and food if we're not able to get everything through that strait. Now, I did see someone today talking about maybe what'll happen is they'll just basically, put a toll in place, and they'll let things pass through, but it's going to just get that much more expensive. But you can see everything on here. I sometimes have AI stuff in here, but most of it's gold and silver that I pull. Every once in a while, there's maybe a crazy conspiracy thing I see on here that I bookmark. But here's the historical charts. So this is Krim. He's looking at it saying basically 274 on silver. Okay. That's his end target that he's looking at. I see a lot of other people talking possibly even as high as, 500 or even 1,000. So, the key is don't bet on what price it's going to. If you believe it's going up above $100, then I think it's a wise thing to consider to buy. So that's what you need to be kind of looking at. So here's a list of the AI stuff. We'll hit that last here. So Goldman Sachs just published the list of jobs AI will eliminate first. I can't confirm any of this, so this could be AI that just made this stuff up anyway. So you'd have to go research this on your own. But 25% of all the U.S. Work hours, whatever. These are the things that are going to get hit first, guys, and they're already getting hit pretty hard. Computer programmers, accountants, copy editors. A lot of this stuff is already getting taken out. So if you find that your profession gets taken out, I'm sorry, that sucks. AI tools should be created to enhance humans and to keep people working and to create efficiencies. It shouldn't be used to create profitability for companies. It's one of the reasons I don't love publicly held companies. And I would never sell a company and then hold on to the shares of it. I'd keep it private because I don't like the philosophy that goes on with that. I also don't like when people short it. You can always borrow against your shares if you need to do things. You don't have to, take your company public. But the issue is you've got shareholders that are pushing for profits over all else, and that's all they care about. And if every company does that, we're going to end up with a lot fewer people that are employed. So that's going to be an issue. All right, what we're going to do now is I'm going to see if I can get this to work again, and we're going to rotate this over to a members only. If you guys want to become a member, you can just go down right below the video. You should see join. It should be right next to StackingSurfer. If you hit join, it'll give you the options to join that, and you guys can totally do that. So let's see if I can get this to work. All right, so we're going to start it in 5 minutes. I got to call my wife real quick. So you guys should see, let's see. Yeah, we're going to start in 5 minutes. It should just roll over. If it cuts this off, then go back to my channel. You should see it pop up in the feed, or you can go and hit live at the top of your screen. All right, guys, we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, can you guys hear me? Hopefully you can see me. I don't know if this is actually turned over. I don't know how to tell if it's a member-only stream now or not. So we'll just go with it. All right, let me know if you guys cannot hear me. So I will probably have to leave a little earlier than an hour. Let's see what we can get through real quick here, guys. I've got to drive up to LA and then get back to sleep because I've got meetings at 6 in the morning and I still have a ton of crap to do for work today too. All right, one thing I wanted to show you guys, it's kind of cool. I want to create some really cool silver surfboards. I probably won't do this until we do a pre-order for people and until I get my website up and going. But at first I was looking at this as kind of a mold, which is kind of a bigger surfboard. And then I found this guy that's on a keychain that might be able to work for a mold. And then I think I found one of the most perfect ones, which is a little guy that is probably a 1 or 2 ounces worth of silver. It's a surfboard, which could be really cool. We wouldn't do any colored stuff on it, but we could stamp it, which would be pretty fun. So I got an idea of what to do with that and why I want to do it, but we may do that. So stay tuned for that. I've got a few people that I'm going to send that to and see if we can create something cool with